Hello.
Hello, AOS fans!
It's the Agents of Quest.
Darkwater, it's called Darkwater.
Darkwater.
So yes, in this video we will be looking at Warhammer Quest
Darkwater.
and telling you what we think of it. We've played a couple of games. We played the intro game and then we played the first game in a whole new campaign. We've started Act 1 of
The little intro game's great. It pretty much sets the whole board up for you. It gives you the challenge that you've got to complete, and it tells you what your first hero does and explains how all of that works. The hero attacking and the Kelpies doing their activation and how that works and how all of it sort of fits together, and then it sets you free to go and do the rest of it yourself and
explore the rules. There aren't very many rules.
No, there's not a huge
I
amount.
was quite impressed by how good that was, because sometimes Games Workshop can leave you stranded a little bit. It's obviously something they've worked on for this, because it actually goes through it step by step what you've got to do. I suppose if you're an experienced gamer, you might start to find it a little bit repetitive by the end of the encounter, because it's very much do this, do this, do this. So you get those all that combat and movement and everything down, so that you know exactly what you're doing by the end of the encounter. It's a really solid introduction to the game.
Yeah, and the way it works is very simple. You get these 3 cards that have move, attack, and aid on it, and aid is basically heal someone else. The way you activate your fighter is when it's your turn, it goes hero, bad guys, hero, bad guys, hero, bad guys. You get your 3 cards. You can tap a card, which basically you exhaust it by turning it sideways, and that gives you like 1 energy, and then you can do one of the other things. So you could tap your aid, and you find that most of the time the first thing you do is you tap your aid, and then you use your move, and then you maybe tap your move to move again, or maybe you tap your move to then attack, and then if things are going well, you then tap your attack to attack again.
Yeah, so you can. That's slightly counterintuitive. You can tap a card and use it to do the same thing. So you can tap move to move, or you can tap a different card to move and then do it a second time, which is good. But I think my first thought was, oh well, you obviously can't tap move to move because that would be nonsense. But you don't, because in some games if you spend the card, you then can't do the card.
Use the card,
because that's kind of the mechanic, the trade-off mechanic. But they haven't got that here, so you can tap and spend with the same thing, which sounds like an advert for sort of contactless payment.
You can tap and spend.
But isn't.
When the bad guys move, you activate each group of bad guys, but not all of them. They have like a group number. So the Beastmen, you might be activating 2 of them. The Pox Wretches, or whatever they're called, you might activate 3 or 4 of them. So if you have multiple different types of bad guy on the board, lots of them are going to activate, and it depends on which hero activated as to which ones of the bad guys activate. Will be the ones closest to them. Yeah. And then you've got a handy dice that you'll be rolling to find out what they do. You haven't got to go through this great big long decision tree or anything like that.
No, it's very intuitive what you do. Yeah, like you say, it's the fighters nearest the hero that's just activated. Yeah. They're the ones that move. You're always told what number are moving, and as Pete said, on the creature's turn, you always activate all of them, or all of the different groups. So if you've got 2 or 3 different types of species, for want of a better word, some representative of each is going to move, or attack. So it can get, if you've got lots of different types of enemy, you can be quite nasty for the heroes.
You've got 4 rounds, as we said, and in each of those rounds, all the heroes will activate once, and then the monsters will activate once after each of them. So a lot goes on. You very quickly work out what you want to do. You're like, okay, I'm going to move and attack, or I'm going to move, attack, aid, or whatever it is you're going to be doing.
It's got quite a good action economy, and I mean, so far in the games we've played, it hasn't felt too tight for what we've been doing, but we have been, I think we've got down towards the 4th activation, because basically if you get to the end of the 4th turn and you haven't finished it, then the game over is over.
Game over.
So you've only got a limited number of actions with each fighter, and I guess when you start to fight tough monsters, once you start to take heavier damage, then you become less good. Because if you become vulnerable, then you can do less. And I can really see as the game gets more difficult that the action economy is going to become really important. You're going to have to think a little bit about what you do. I have to say, I think anyway we've had to think about what you can't just go willy-nilly chasing about. No. You have to think, well, I need to make sure every action counts. Otherwise I'm going to run out of time.
And I can definitely see that becoming more of a pressure point as the game goes on, because you can play any one of the scenarios in this, and we'll come on to how the scenarios work in a moment, but you can play any one of those scenarios. I think you're not going to be worried at all. You're going to be fine in any standalone scenario.
Certainly in the Act 1 ones.
It'll be, I think once you get 2 or 3 or 4 of them back to back, because you don't necessarily start each one fully healed, and that's where you're going to start coming into it already injured and going, oh,
that
do
is
I
a
want
good
to spend
point,
a turn
actually,
healing?
You can play this as a skirmish where you just pick an encounter at random and do it. I don't know, but on the back of what we've done so far, it feels like that won't be much of a challenge. Because you always start on full health, but actually I can really see, as Pete said, if you're doing the acts, so the acts there are basically going to possibly end up with 7 encounters to go through. You heal a little bit between them, but not much. So I can see if you're not starting on full health, things could go south much more quickly.
Thinking, oh, I don't actually want to go charging off into the enemy. I actually want to sit here and get some aid before I do anything. So, and I do like the fact that they've got those standalone ones, the standalone options to play, because then you can just sit down, set it up, play. You'll be done in an hour.
So it definitely plays in under an hour.
And it has a little scoring system in it where you can then go, how good did we do? Yeah. Oh, we did really badly, or we did really well. And then you can look at, oh, well, we want to improve things. It is worth pointing out that when you start this game and you're playing the actual 3-act system, you only get access to the 4 heroes that we've all seen, the caster, the dwarf, the knight, and the saint.
There are more heroes in the box, but I haven't worked out how to unlock them then. I think they might be specific encounters in the campaign.
So talking of the campaign and mentioning the acts, there are 3 acts in this game.
Yeah, and they're all sealed, so you can't see them. You have to.
I do like that.
Yeah, I do too. Like you open up Act 1 and you start with that. Obviously, you can see that. But Act 2 and 3 are over there in boxes sealed. Can't look in there. But they will add new treasure. So for each act, you get some treasure cards, and you get a load of encounter cards.
So you get a bunch of encounter cards, and there'll be boss cards in here. There's 3 boss cards, and it's Fellhoof is the boss for the first act, and you get about 30 odd of these other cards as well.
So you're going to make a little deck for your act. We're going to work through. You start with a boss. There are 3 variants of the boss card.
There's Menagerie, Fellhoof's Sacrifice.
Now I've got Fellhoof's Trap. So this one goes at the bottom, and then you stack 14 of the other cards on top. Most of the cards are encounters, but there are also some random events, and there's also a couple of respite. I think there's 3 respite cards. There's more cards that you don't play with in an act than you do, so that you've got plenty of replayability in it.
Yeah, I know that they said in the original game that you were looking at like 10 to 15 hours of play or whatever it was, but that's assuming you just do each of the 3 acts, and you don't then go, actually, let's go back and pick it. The cards that we didn't use the first time round, or stuff like that. I don't know how you unlock the new fighters yet. We haven't seen that, but presumably you can then go back and do it with different fighters. Yeah, and probably make it more difficult for yourself in different ways. I would imagine. But yeah, there's lots of replayability, and that's just Act 1. We've still got Act 2 and Act 3 to see how that goes. And some of the boss stats look hella difficult. Terrifying.
So you're going to have to get better.
So you have your 14 cards on the top there, and you don't play through all 14.
No. You will basically end up doing 7 things. So each turn, each time you play, you draw 2 and you choose. You're meant to just read the flavour text, choose which one you want to do as a result of the flavour text, and then discard one so you don't play it, and you just play that one. And
so even then, you're whilst you've got half in that one, and you've got half you haven't used. You're only playing with half of that half, so you've got a quarter. You've got a lot more options
and actually there's more than half, so it's probably more like
a fifth maybe, or something like that.
So you have got a lot of replayability. I sort of like that, but always a little bit of me that almost thinks there's almost too much replayability.
So there's too many options.
Well, not even that. I kind of don't want to have done Act 1, but only feel like I've used less than half the content.
It's a bit like that whole D&D problem when you're the DM of, I've made this entire castle, and you literally went up, left, and then down again, and you found the boss, and you haven't explored any of the rest of the castle.
If I've unlocked Act 2, I'm going to want to play with Act 2. But I've got quite a lot of different cards from Act 1 that I haven't used yet, and I'm not quite sure what I would do. Will I go back and play it before I do Act 2? I don't think I will, but I guess at least
when you pack Act 1 away, you can mark those cards, put a sticker on them, turn them upside down or whatever, so you can go, okay, next time we play, tear them up. Oh, God, nearly threw up then. You could then somehow separate them, so you can go, next time we're going to play with the other cards or whatever.
So obviously more cards is better than fewer cards.
Exactly,
I almost wish that you made a 14-card deck and you just did play it all.
Yeah, I guess you could. There's nothing saying you can't, but that's not how the rules play to get the time limit that they suggest.
Yeah.
Now, some of them are encounters where you will be on the board and you've got your models and you're actually playing full games. Some of them are like a brief respite where you'll get a bit of healing and stuff, so you'll just help your heroes get a bit better, get a bit more healed up before you then choose another 2 cards and pick one of them to play again.
Yeah, and the rest are events, and they're kind of random. They could be little dice games or that kind of thing. I vaguely remember there was something in some of the other quests things when you're back at the tavern or something where you could do little event things. The board works really nicely. The coding is quite good. And the couple that we've looked at are quite an interesting challenge. This is one we haven't. This is one we haven't done. We're just
in hexes.
It's got hexes and hexes. We haven't done this one yet, but we were just looking at how it might work. It appears to have quite a different mechanic. Like the first two are kind of like chase the monsters down and bash them.
Yeah.
This one is quite different.
You've almost got to chase the boss around
and not bash him.
And you can't bash him because he runs away.
But
he summons things, which I think is really cool.
Quite looking forward to playing that one. Maybe we'll play that on stream at some point. But the book works well. It stays flat.
One thing I did like when we played the first mission and when we're looking at this second mission is that we're using some of the markers on the board, but there are other markers on this board that we haven't used. So obviously there are other missions that are going to use this. Because I think we looked at it before, but this goes up to 19. So there are 19 pages.
There's a lot more than 19 encounters.
Yeah, so I really like the fact that you'll start to get familiar with the setting, but then it will be a different scenario. And I also like the fact that whilst the one encounter might be go and bash a load of beastie skulls in, another encounter is quite different. And is a whole different game where you've got to do stuff and position things on the board.
Which is one of the reasons why I want to play through the other. I don't want to leave any cards unturned.
Yeah, it's like what are these other ones like?
The miniatures are excellent.
Oh, just fantastic. I mean, if you're a Nurgle player, they're even betterer.
Yes.
But
if you don't like Nurgle, the miniatures aren't so good. The heroes, for me, they've really captured that kind of essence of Hero Quest.
Heroiciness.
Yeah, they really, for me, they harken more to the old world than to the Age of Sigmar world, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the knight, he's obviously a Bretonnian knight, but he could also be, like you said before, a cleric or something like that. Could be Empire.
I reckon he lives on the borders.
Could be, but then you've got the classic wizard with the water spell coming around, and I mean, a dwarf with 2 axes. And you've got
not Gimli. I like the models, but I suppose that brings us round to the price, which is probably one of the biggest sticking points from what I've seen people online talking about the game. And it's really hard for us because obviously we've been very kindly sent this by Games Workshop, so we haven't paid for it. So it's really easy to sit here and go, it's a very good value.
It's a great game. You should definitely buy one. Use our affiliate link. There is one below if you want to use it to get a discount.
You will get a discount.
You will get a discount from Willing Games, and it gives us a little kickback. So feel free to check out the description for that.
It is expensive.
It is.
It is obviously a luxury. But then most Games Workshop stuff is a luxury.
Yeah.
You can incorporate the models into your Nurgle army if you want to.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the Maggotkin book, the new one coming out, but it has the Beastmen in it.
Okay,
it has all those other things in it. So I would assume, like they did with Cursed City, where you could use the models from that you'll be able to. I mean, at worst, you can at least proxy him as a demon prince because the big lad is huge.
So you've got some little bit of crossover there, but again, only it's quite narrow.
It's specific, yeah. I know some people will be sitting there going, it's not like Hero Quest back in the day in 1989 when I spent me 50 quid from Christmas. Yeah. We're long gone from those days now.
We did a little bit of research. We couldn't quite remember the price of Advanced Hero Quest, and I couldn't quite find a definitive answer online. But I remember it being at the least £40, and probably more like 50.
50-ish, 49.99, something like that.
And then so we used this thing called the internet where you can find information. Apparently £50 in 1989 when Advanced Hero Quest came out is worth £158 something.
That's very close to £160.
So in real terms, obviously if it was £40, it's a little bit less. I think it works out just over £3. A pound is worth about £3.20 now.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit less if it was £40. The models are much better.
The models are fantastic. I mean, they're all multi-part but push-fit kits. They're not your one-pose barbarians or your Skaven with your shield and your sword not doing anything. The models are just so much better.
Yeah. And of course, it isn't cheap. And it is just like I wouldn't say it's a one-off. You're going to get more use out of it, but you might get less use out of it than you would some of your other Games Workshop products. So it's a personal decision at the end of the day.
Yeah,
we haven't played loads of the scenarios to say, yes, there's lots of replayability and the mechanics are brilliant. The mechanics are fun. It's a really good way of getting an hour's Warhammer down and without it being too confrontational and too headachy. If you want a light palate cleanser after a hard Warhammer Underworld, maybe you've just been absolutely destroyed by an 11-year-old Polish kid or something, and you just want it a bit light to enjoy yourself with hexes, then this will work.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that this is a co-op game. It's like your Hero Quest, your Advanced Hero Quest, all that. You're all working together. You either win as a group or you lose as a group, and I think that's always just a nicer experience. Whereas in any other game, there's always a winner and a loser. Someone's always going to have, at least in this, if one person has all the bad dice, then as a group you can commiserate on that and work around it together. You do have that element to this kind of game you always have, where the minute you see what the mission is, you start to go, okay, what is the most efficient way that we can accomplish this, and using all our special abilities, but you're going to do that anyway.
Yeah,
so
we all like doing that.
Yeah.
That's how we ended up where we are.
Exactly. And that still doesn't account for the fact that when you go, oh, okay, so now this bad guy does this. Oh, you've just taken 6 damage. Oh, God, we're in so much trouble now.
Yeah, and I would have to say, having played some... Well, I didn't even really play Crusade. Crusade just didn't gel with me, and obviously there was a difficult time to play it. But having played various iterations of Warhammer Quest now, I think this feels like the simplest to get into. Can't necessarily say it's the best, but it's definitely, I would say, definitely better than Curse City.
Yep.
We played some Blackstone Fortress.
We did,
which got quite boring after a while.
Yeah.
It just was a bit samey.
It did feel very samey, and I don't know if we're going to have the same issue with this. I hope not.
The original Silver Tower I didn't like at all.
No, that was far too random.
Hammerhal I did actually like, but it was probably better with...
you needed a DM for that, didn't you? So
maybe you actually had to have a GM, yes. So I think that gave it an extra dimension. But this is just feels really easy to play. I know it's expensive. That's really its only drawback.
Yeah, and I know some people, because the rules are quite simple, so it might get a little bit samey quickly.
Yeah.
But that doesn't account for the fact that the bad guys are always going to be doing stuff, and dice rolls are always going to throw you for a loop.
Yeah.
So I think that's always going to give you a level of replayability. Obviously, you get the rewards as well, so that gives you things like equipment or abilities that'll help spice things up as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that it goes beyond, because I don't really like the fact that D6 move is D6 for most of the fighters, which is a bit frustrating, because like if you roll a 1, it's like,
that can be a little bit annoying, but that does mean, again, you can't just assume anything.
No,
It's
exactly,
always
which is
a dice
fine.
roll.
But I don't think it will actually. For having looked through some of the cards, I would hate it to always be, well, if we roll well, we'll succeed.
Yeah.
It's got to be like, well, actually, if we plan it well, then we'll succeed. And obviously, there's just the odd curveball where you end up putting your foot down a grate and can't move that turn or something.
Yeah.
Or only move 1. But there seems to be enough other stuff in the encounter cards just to make it interesting, and not just literally a hack and slash.
Yeah, it's not just a dungeon crawl where you just go through killing everything, pick up all the glory and gold and stuff, and move on to the next one. So I think it's going to give a lot of replayability. I like the fact that it's from 1 to 4 players, so you can play it solo if you want to, but you also, if you have a group of 4 of you, but one of you can't make it one night, somebody can just play that other character. Well, between the 3 of you left, you can then play that character, so I quite like that.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you've got these little missions every time, and they've all got a little bit of story behind them, so they all just add to the flavour of the setting, which I really like.
Yeah, and I think the 4 activations means that you know that you're going to get it done in an evening.
Yes.
Because I feel like we had games of Hammerhal where it just went on and on and on. Because you didn't...
Or Silver Tower, when you're just like, I don't know if we've got like another hour to go or 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Something's going to randomly happen.
But this is a nice condensed, which actually I think, as a busy person, then I think, knowing how long a game is going to take is vitally important to getting the game to the table. Because if you know it's going to take 45 minutes, I can get 2 sessions of this in tonight. Whereas if it might end up accidentally taking 3 hours, then you'll be like, well, we'll just play Cascadia.
Yeah. I like the fact that in the first act you have Falhoof. In the second act you're going to have the grub witch woman, and in the third act you're going to have the big man himself.
Big guy.
And the big man himself does look terrifying.
Yeah, but I hope you get some decent equipment before that. I
He's
don't know whether there
terrifying.
are improved variants of the characters as they go through. They might be in the new acts.
Oh yeah,
There
maybe.
could be.
Yeah, maybe we'll see different ones of them.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that they've got a little bit of flavour. They've each got their own little ability, and they've got a little card as well, so that they have another little action. But it's not too many special rules.
No.
The monsters as well, they also have a little bit of extra where they do
But
something.
it's not like you've got to remember to do it, because it generally only keys
Yes.
off like the particular dice action. So it's like, I've rolled this, and what does that do? It tells
So
you.
the Pestigore, they have like, if you roll the special ability, they'll just advance, so they'll just move. But then you start to add these tokens on it. It says if you have 1 token, then attacks become nasty attacks, and if you have 2 tokens, then
It becomes super nasty.
super nasty, all this kind of stuff. So they're nice and quick to follow through on the special rules, which you can look at as you activate the monsters each time. Nice and quick and easy. You haven't got to sit there scratching your head for ages going, I don't know how this works. Where have I got to look for all this stuff? And there's no big long decision trees either.
No.
It did take us a little while to work out a few of the rules. Nothing too painful though, and it just meant if we actually had sat down and read the rules slower to start with, we would have gone, oh, it's right there. So
Yeah, I think it suffers that problem that co-op games sometimes do, that if you misinterpret a rule, you then reinforce that over a number of turns because
Yeah.
you just keep playing it, and then that becomes how you play it. And it's only later when you go back and read it again, oh, actually, we did that completely wrong.
Yeah.
That hasn't quite happened, but there's been a few things where we've sort of missed it.
But again, it's not like where you can go, oh, that game you won last week, it was because we missed this rule. It's like, oh, we managed to pass that encounter and it was a little bit easier than we thought it was going to be because of this. We'll just remember that for next time.
Or you could go back and do it again if you were a purist.
I also like the fact that if you've got a 3x3 area, you've pretty much got enough room for everything.
Yeah.
We've been a bit more extra messy with looking at stuff afterwards before we recorded this game, but even then it's not taking up too much room, so you don't have to have masses and masses of space.
No, it's very underworldsy in size, really, isn't it?
And in hex.
Hexy.
It's got that hex appeal.
Yeah. So it could be Games Workshop's second best game on hexes, which isn't necessarily a great solution. They've only got 2. But it is fun. It is fun. I've enjoyed the games we've got it. And we're going to play it on the channel. We're going to play one certainly on live stream, which should come out a few days after this video comes out. And then if you want to see more games, then we're probably pretty happy to play them and sort of go through maybe finding some new characters, improving these characters and go through, see how we can get through. And if people keep watching, then we'll keep playing. So let us know in the comments below what you think of it, and let us know if you want to see some games live or recorded, and if you want to see us play the full campaign all the way through, or you don't want to spoil it, so you've never watched that kind of content, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, and if there is an aspect of the game that we haven't answered or covered that you'd like to hear about, then do let us know and we will answer that.
Yeah, do our best to answer it. So if you want to see more content, whether it be in Darkwater or on the Spikewood, then don't forget to click that like button.
And click that subscribe button.
Otherwise, we'll see you somewhere in Darkwater. Bye!